Look forward to Michigan right now. We are getting all-star analysis from conservative columnist for the Boston Globe, Adriana Cohen, and Fox News contributor and liberal radio host, Leslie Marshall. Good to see both you guys. Adriana, starting with you, it looks like Trump is going to take it in Michigan. What do you think Cruz will be able to walk away with there?
Well, I think for sure Trump is going to run away with it. He's dominating in most of the polls. And I just don't want to say I'm with the Boston Herald.
Big difference. Yeah, big difference between Boston Herald. There you go, Adriana.
Yes, absolutely. So Trump is dominating by double digits in all the polls. He's absolutely going to be able to take Michigan. And, you know, his momentum is still strong. He picked up 2 states, as you know, on Saturday. And, you know, this is his race to win. So he's headed in the right direction. The one who's really on life support here is Marco Rubio. There's no doubt about it. He's only won 2 states, not even a state, Puerto Rico, Commonwealth, out of 20 primary or caucus races. And it looks as though he may even lose his own state, Florida, which is absolutely the end of his campaign. It could even end his political career.
Do you think he gets out at that point? Let me go to Leslie for a moment. I mean, if Rubio can't get Florida, and it's looking unlikely that he will, is that when you say enough is enough? I gotta, you know, I got to end this thing?
Well, you know what? I just saw this fat lady walking toward Rubio's stage and ready to sing. And I say that because it is over for him if he can't win his home state. Hey, let's look at what happened over the weekend. He wasn't expected to win in certain states like Maine, for example, but he wasn't expected to come in 4th. There are a couple of things here. I think the voters are screaming with their support of Trump and Cruz, anti-establishment, even though Cruz is part of the establishment. And I do think that Rubio fighting back at the Donald and, in a sense, stooping to his level didn't help him. He is double digits behind Trump in his home state, and he was expected to win certain districts in Maine, and we also saw in Kansas, like around Kansas City, around Portland. He didn't do that. He is not doing even what the polls expect him to do. The voters may like him in polling, but they're not voting for him. I think the handwriting is on the wall. Unless he wins Florida, it's over.
So with all this in mind, where do those votes go? I mean, Adriana, he's seen Marco Rubio, that is, as the establishment candidate. If, in fact, he gets out, do people then rally behind Ted Cruz? I mean, the establishment feels in some ways closer to Cruz than they do to Trump.
That's right. This race is anti-establishment, at least on the conservative side.
I think we're having a little bit of an audio problem, so we're going to go back to Adriana on that. But Leslie, over to you for a moment. I mean, where do those voters migrate to?
Well, I honestly think that they would go to Ted Cruz more than they would go to Donald Trump, because Cruz at least he really is a part of the establishment, which certainly Marco Rubio is. And even though Ted Cruz is not loved at all, there's no love lost in the House or the Senate with Congress to work with him if he were president. I think that the great divide, literally, between Donald Trump and Marco Rubio would leave his voters hard-pressed to vote for Donald Trump, and I do think, quite frankly, some of them would stay home.
Hey, Leslie, are you worried at all? I mean, that there will be some defectors amongst the Democrats, that there are people that really feel burned by policies like NAFTA, that feel as though they've lost their jobs, union members, for example, blue-collar Democrats that depend on the manufacturing sector. And Donald Trump's out there, if he becomes the nominee, promising to bring these jobs back to America. Do you think you will lose some folks to the Republican Party?
I think, quite frankly, I think we already have because of Donald Trump. I don't think it's the party. I think it's the guy who is speaking to some of those less educated people or some of the blue-collar workers. We saw that in my home state of Massachusetts, where we Democrats lost, what, like 20,000 voters.
Right.
And I think also there were just people who don't like Hillary that might leave the party for another candidate, unfortunately. And I think there are people that are just looking for something new. So, yes, I think Democrats will lose some party members, but I think Republicans will as well.
With that in mind, Adriana, is he the harder candidate for Hillary Clinton to beat?
I definitely think so. Donald Trump is a bit more unpredictable. And also, I think he leans more left on some of the social issues, and he's more appealing to the moderate. And so he's already, you know, he's already getting Democrats and independents to vote for him. I think that's going to be harder for Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz's challenge right now is appealing and broadening his appeal to the moderates. I don't think he's going to get Democrats or independents. And so Trump is definitely stronger there.
Adriana and Leslie, thank you so much. Good to see you guys.